but how has he kind of been developing? Yeah.
He's been developing fine. I wouldn't say he's going to be our next right back. Sometimes when we have training numbers, we have to put, some of the young guys in different positions just because of the nature of the training day, the exercise, what we're going to get out of it. He's still a very useful attacking player. His play in the Open Cup was very good, the Open Cup game. I thought some of his performances with Defiance have been good. So I'll probably keep scoring goals.
Yeah, and also, I completely understand that in meeting numbers, obviously you're, but at the same time, you did have Alex kind of, work his way to getting more minutes because of that kind of changes.
Alex rolled in.
Yeah, I'm not comparing,
Ethan,
but just to,
Ethan,
wanting to get on there.
Yeah.
Getting on the field.
Well, for those young kids, I think what it is they just want to get on the field. They don't care what position they play. So he's anxious to get minutes, and so he'll sacrifice whatever he needs to get on the field. So that's part of it as well.
How do you, view like his play with the Defiance too? They've got a good win streak going, and how is that kind of maybe helping make trainings better? Or?
Yeah. Well, we'll need them in these international breaks. We'll need all the young kids to come and participate, and with the congested, fixtures coming up, it's good for them. They get Defiance games so they can stay in rhythm, stay in game fitness, and then their performances will dictate whether they can transfer that from Defiance and training up into the first team.
How have you been revamping the guys back from their break, and how are you doing health-wise in terms of the team?
We're doing okay. So the guys that are coming back on international duty, those guys we'll have to see. We'll have to give them some time somewhere. The other guys, obviously, that stayed home, stayed put, got some time, but even that was a little nuanced because the young kids had to play in a Defiance game, and then I gave them some days off. This was actually their first. Danny, Dylan, all those guys, that was their first day back. Ethan. So the other group had been training already, and then with the internationals, we'll take a look and see how they play, see who plays tonight, see who plays on Tuesday, and we'll make decisions.
Are you in any conversations with, like Jordan and Christian about them possibly coming back before, their camp is over?
They're going to stay for the full camp.
You, Denver left early. Was there anything?
No, just maintenance. We're in no rush. Yaimar's health is most important.
As far as a training like today, it seemed lighthearted still, but what was the main focus? Are you really trying to turn back into?
We pushed them pretty hard the first block of training days when we came back off the break, and then we gave them a day off. So today has to be a little bit of a regen plus. So there was no real specific tactics. It was just getting them back up on the horse, getting them back out on the grass, making sure everybody's okay, because you don't really lose fitness when you give them a break. Maybe there's a little bit of sharpness that's lacking after that little break, and then they got to play Vancouver and then a tough game against LAFC. So we just got to prepare them both mentally and physically for those two games.
What have you seen out of Vancouver this year, and coming into this game, what type of challenges do they present?
Great question. Vanny has done a great job. I think he puts a belief into their group that they can win games, and that's always powerful. And then they have decent players. Gold is obviously a very, very talented player. I know he's been injured. They're bringing him back on. They signed a new Paraguayan. Ryan White's a good striker. Youngworth, Winsky. They've got a good squad. It's a solid squad. Tybert has been there for years. He's a talented player. So, Home, it's a good team.
For this team, there's always going to be some movement, some rotation for that specific game, perhaps. How well do you think that they'll take it going into that game, knowing that you guys have done a lot of that throughout this season. You guys had to have move players around, and the team's always responded well.
It's just testament. You're asking me about my team, right?
Yes, your team.
So yes, that group. That's just testament to those guys. I always tell them it's their team. They're the ones that will, do the hard work, put the hard work in, and they reward themselves with winning championships, winning games. It's all them. They all understand. They get it.
We talked to Alex Jordan earlier this week. That he kind of talked about how he grinded where he's at, and I kind of wanted to know from your perspective, for a guy that at times was criticized, that he's had to kind of really fight it, and now he's an all-star and one of the best in his position. What have you seen out of him in terms of growth and where he's at today?
Yeah, I mean, Alex has to keep going. The same mentality that he had to break in is the same mentality he needs to close out seasons like this. We can't be complacent. We can't say we've already won a championship, and so that's the real test for me. How does Alex further his career? Because he had a fantastic year, and he was an all-star. But can he make the all-star team again? Can he help us win MLS Cup? Can he continue to keep pushing us in the right direction? That's the question that he has to answer. I believe in Alex. I don't think I ever criticized him. I've pushed him, but I've always thought he had talent, and he has some of that Roldan, family blood in him, where he gets after it.
U.S. national team plays today. What have you seen out of the group so far, and what are you looking for perhaps tonight?
Well, I'm a big supporter of all of our national teams, both the men and the women. I'm glad that both teams are successful. The men certainly not as much as the women, but I'm hoping for a good World Cup. I'm hoping for Jordan, Christian finding some minutes to show what they can do. I mean, we see them all the time. We see Jordan and Christian all the time. Give them an opportunity to play a little bit. Let Greg take notice. Maybe that gives them a better chance of making that World Cup squad in November. So there's lots of positives.